Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it. Pursue it. Work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, if you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like, just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Ayanna. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Juneteenth Lunch and Learn session. We are excited to have you on today. My name is Ayanna Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. Our beloved Jamie is not here with us today, but I am here to fill in. We had an amazing weekend of Juneteenth festivities, and we hope that you saw us on everywhere, on all channels, in all spaces, and we hope that you were able to join us in person. If not, we do have our virtual summit that we are going to be re-airing this weekend and on Monday. So please look out for the emails to join us. Now, on today, we will be interviewing with an amazing person. And let me tell you, she was at our festival on Saturday and a fight almost broke out. A good fight, not a bad one. A good fight almost broke out. Where me and another one of my board members were pretty much fighting over the cookies. That's how good they were, okay? We were like eating out of each other's hands. So every time one person had the cookie in their hand and they weren't paying attention, somebody grabbed it and they started eating it. So it was when I say like amazing, I really want to hear about this entire story of how she got started. So today our guest is Ayanna Avant, and we will be talking about turning a dream into reality, introducing Cakes Kai Makes Incorporated. And when I tell you they were good, they were amazing. So can we bring Ayanna on? Hello, Ayanna. How you doing?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our Juneteenth Lunch and Learn session. We are so excited to have you. And you already know I'm crazy, so I like to have fun. This space definitely. For us is really a space of how we can continue to showcase the talents, the amazing talents of our small business owners, our entrepreneurs who are out here making a difference in the world, changing the narrative around what we believe about ourselves as African Americans and what people believe about us. Basically ending on the note that we are more than just slavery. While we may have come from that, that is not all that we are. And we do come from kings and queens, and that we have the air to us that exudes that. So to start off, tell us a little bit about your business and why you got started.
Okay. So hello, everyone. Like she said, my name is Ayanna, And Cakes Kai Makes is actually a vision I've had for quite some time. I've been baking for over 15 years. I think over the last 15 years is really when I started to hone my skills. So it's actually been a long time dream of mine, and to see it come to fruition is just amazing. Like it's I have no words to express my overwhelming gratitude and the blessings that I've had so far. Um, I've been baking for like my family events, birthdays, and just a few friends and local people that I know that, hey, can you make a cake for me this occasion, etc. And every time it's always been, okay, when is your bakery gonna come? When is your bakery starting? Like, why do I have to wait for my birthday? When can I have this regularly? And of course, everyone knows what the pandemic did, and it really changed the mindset of a lot of us. And um, I would say just in the spirit of why not now, right? Like, why am I waiting? What am I waiting for? I got started. And this past year, I've kind of put some testers out there. I did a few pop ups just to see how the reaction, right? And this past March is when I was fully incorporated and ready to get started and jump right in.
I love that. I love that. And I love that so many people have used Juneteenth as like a benchmark for their business to get started. We've had within our 14 years of doing Juneteenth, people have gone from just starting like yourself, where they
Mm-hmm.
are just getting incorporated, to the following years where they may have a storefront or have their materials put into restaurants. And I definitely want to talk to you about that because we have a new partnership this year with the Black Restaurant Coalition. And it
Okay.
might be a great conversation for you to meet with the director so that you can talk to them about maybe housing some of your treats inside of some of their restaurants and being
That
able
sounds
to
awesome.
partner in that way. So this is, everything that I do is about resource relationship wise and how we're able to support each other with our visions. So talk to us a little bit about what challenges might you have endured. I know you said you started during COVID, so I'm sure there might have been some challenges in that space and in post leading up to Juneteenth, and and anything that you might have anticipated outside of that.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest challenge was access to resources, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can find online. Especially, one of the things I will always tell people is when you're going to start anything, you should always do your research. Find out like what your target audience is going to be, what your overhead might be, what cost you might endure, things of that nature. So during COVID, you had a lot of places that were either closed or like the wait times were really long to get someone on the phone. Or if you don't have a personal like tax preparer, I do, thank God. So I was able to, like use them for resources. I have family members that are in business as well or that have connections. So I was able to use them, but not everyone has that. So one of the biggest challenges is just being able to get a live person to explain certain things for you and get the information. You find lots of things online like LegalZoom or your state's website. But if you don't really know the language and you don't know what they're talking about, you may not be able to interpret it so that it can be beneficial to you. So that was one of the challenges that I've had.
So it sounds like having a community of other entrepreneurs would definitely benefit you in that
Definitely.
space, so that people who
Yep.
have been doing it for a while, that is definitely something that we're looking at, initiating, especially with our vendors, because we know that people are in that space in a variety of different levels and
Mm-hmm.
want to open up avenues for conversation so that, like you said, there are resources that you might have been privy to that someone else might not, or still be confusing. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years with as a small business owner, and there's still things that I am, reaching out to other experienced business owners to partner with and to get information. So it never stops. So I will definitely share that with you. It will continue to happen.
Absolutely. I am always learning. Every event that I do, I meet someone new, that has been doing it for a lot longer than me. And,
Mhm.
I feel like I learn something new every event.
Awesome. Well, I hope you were able to make some connections at Juneteenth this weekend.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
That's what I love to hear. We love
Yeah.
to hear that paying it forward and others helping in that space. So
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit. I want to go further back behind the scenes before we got to the cake business because
Okay.
you were an electrical engineer. Is that
Yes.
what I understand?
Yes.
So tell us
Yes.
about
Yes.
electrical engineering, how that was the segue into baking cakes.
Yep.
Like, how did that?
Yep. I get asked that question all the time. When people ask, and I'm like, yeah, I'm an electrical engineer by trade. They're like, what? How did that match with that? Um, when I went to college at 17, and at that time, it's like that's a lot of pressure on someone so young to kind of make the decision on what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I had things that I was really good at, like math and science, and I had things that I really loved, like cooking. So the decision was culinary arts or different world. Shout out to the 90s graduates. Different world was a really big influence for me, and I was like, whoa, wouldn't it be dope to be a Black woman engineer? Like, that would be, you don't see that very often. And engineering is a very male dominated field. So that's the way I went. I became electrical engineer. I minored in mathematics because, numbers is what I do. And I used to work in that field for quite some time. I worked for Sony Electronics for quite a few years until I decided to start a family. But cooking was always there. Like, I was always cooking and baking, just not on the level that to where I'm at now. So, and then life kind of takes you in different directions. I ended up in finance, which supports my degree, and so now that I'm in the position that I'm in, it's like, okay, now it's really time to start going towards your passion.
The passion. Yeah, passion and purpose. That
Yes.
passion and purpose. God put us here for some things.
Oh
Um,
yeah, my purpose is definitely to serve God's people. So in
yeah.
every capacity that I've been in, I've been put in a position to make sure that I service His people.
All right, come on now. I love that.
Hmm.
So you talked about family. Talk to us about you're the oldest of four children. I'm the oldest of four. Look at
See, I
that.
knew there was a connection. When we met on site. Yes, yes. I am the oldest of four. There's three girls, one boy. I am the oldest, so I'm the boss now. Just,
No,
but
no, we
yes,
are. We definitely are because everybody comes to us for everything,
yes,
and we're the
yes.
second mom, and
Yep,
all of that. So
absolutely,
is
absolutely.
there would you say that there was any, I know for me definitely there's correlation when it comes to my business world and how I show up in my family. Can you talk about it? Have you noticed or have you seen that you being the oldest family oldest child of your siblings, and and it's funny because I'm the opposite. I'm the only girl and there are three boys. So
Oh, okay.
and you have three girls and then the one boy. So
Hmm.
have you felt like there was any um, I guess any resemblance to where your upbringing with your siblings has influenced your life and career choices?
Um, definitely. I've always felt like I needed to set the example, right? When you're the oldest, you're the one that's out there kind of setting the path and knocking the trees down to make the path for them coming behind you a lot easier. So I've always felt like I needed to set the example. Um, you tend to do the things that you feel is right, right? So I went to school, I got the degree, and then, I got the job, I got the career, etc. So, um, starting my own business is kind of something our family does. Like, my grandmother, was in catering. My mother's mother, my father's mother was into like computers and electronics and stuff. So, at some variation between all of like the cousins and the siblings and stuff, people have different aspirations of starting their own business. My brother's a youth pastor, and he's a motivational speaker. So there are things that have been in place to where this is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to have the one where I'm starting my own business. My brother had a business before. I've tried to start businesses before. Like I used to cater, right? I used to make candy and chocolate. Um, so there's different things that we have always done because we're really big on, I'm really big on creating generational wealth. Okay. And it's not just making sure it's the finances, but you want to pass down the resources, the knowledge, the opportunities. My son's father and we've really been big on creating opportunities for our children, just to make sure that they have options. We don't want them to feel like they only have to go one route. We want to make sure that they have multiple avenues that they can explore. So that's part of what it's been for me. As the oldest, you want to set the example for my nieces and nephews that I have, for my own children. My youngest sister, we're 13 years apart. So it's like, she still has time to decide where she wants to go. And I want to make sure that I'm the example for that.
Yeah. It's definitely a heavy load to carry, but like the Bible says, he won't give you more than you can bear. So thank you for taking on that torch, because I feel like a lot of times we don't get thanks. We just do. So I want to say, from one big sister to another, thank you for all that you do and being an example for your siblings. You talked about catering. So I'm a foodie. I love to eat.
Me too.
So can you share maybe a favorite recipe or a favorite cooking technique that you think would help someone else in their journey of cooking?
So it's funny. I get asked that a lot, like, oh, well, what do you do? What do you like? And I tell people all the time, like, if you know me, I feel like I was Italian in a previous life. I don't know. It's just something about the combination of like garlic and pasta and basil and right, like all of those spices. It's just something about that. There's just it, talks to my soul. But I would have, if I had to pick one, it would have to be macaroni and cheese. Like, I feel like I'm a macaroni and cheese connoisseur. I've had it everywhere, every which way, fancy, plain, from the box, like you name it. I've tried it. I've experimented with it. I feel like I make a really good mac and cheese. Like, if you ask my niece Genesis, that's my foodie in partnership here. So I think I make bomb macaroni and cheese. But I would say just create a great roux. You got to start there, because the sauce is where you can add your depth of flavor, and that's going to come out in the dish. So, you have your butter, a tablespoon of butter, or equal parts butter and flour, depending on how big it's going to be. I season my flour. I add nutmeg. I add cayenne to that. So when you're making your roux, right, and you get it nice and brown where the flour is not bubbling anymore, then you want to take a cream. I use either a light cream, you can use half and half, but you got to have something with fat. I don't really like whole milk, right? I do bake with it just because of scientifically, that it kind of works for that. But I would use like a cream or a half and half. And then once you get that, you add that while it's hot, and you make sure you're constantly stirring, and you have a nice little sauce. Then you can season it. Your all-purpose seasoning, you can use your Cajun seasoning, garlic, you can use onion. Exactly. That's where your flavor is going to come from. That sauce, that's where your flavor comes from. I use a variety of cheeses, especially smoked cheeses like smoked provolone or smoked Gouda. You can add mozzarella if you like that stringy pull, kind of concept. Of course, the sharp cheddars. I'm really big on flavor, the saltiness. You got to have that thing that, that little zing in there with your macaroni and cheese. Add your black pepper. A little cayenne never hurts anybody. And then, you toss your pasta with that. I'm telling you. Coat it with another, layer some cheese on top, put it in the oven, bake it. A little parsley if you want to be fancy with it. That's, to me, that's home. That's the soul. That's, a good macaroni and cheese. You know exactly what you're doing in the kitchen.
You make see now. I'm like, all right, I gotta go find me some macaroni and cheese. You
Yo,
just,
I'm
oh my
telling you,
gosh.
I am
I
a
may have to
big
stop by
foodie.
and pick up some. You're gonna have to make me some macaroni and cheese before I leave.
Yes, yes, you got it. You got it.
Awesome. So talk about macaroni and cheese. I think you have two children,
I
right?
do. I have two
Okay.
boys.
Talk to us about how is being a mother and
You
running a
know,
business and and
and right, all the commas. It's funny, you never really know what mothers endure until you become one.
yeah.
It's different when you're watching, right? And you're watching it from your point of view, and you're like, oh man, I wouldn't do. But when you become a mother, it's like no other. And we definitely do wear a cape. And that, no slight on fathers, because I had the best father. Rest in peace to my dad. He was the ultimate example of fatherhood for me. But since we're talking about mothers, right? I do have two sons. They're 20 and 15, and it's definitely something trying to manage like a career, of course, my business, and then personally, just you have to be a woman personally, and then all of the activities that they go to. My son's in college; they both play basketball. My youngest is in high school, and he has activities. So it's definitely a challenge at times. I have an amazing support system. My mom, my aunt, my brother, my sisters. They I can't even. I'm speechless just on how grateful I am for the support system that I have. Um, but you have to take the time, right? And you have to just manage it. It does become overwhelming. There are points where you're burning the candle at both ends,
Mm-hmm.
but the greater good, like what my goal is what motivates me. So the examples that I want to set for them, right? Because I want them to be able to live life, but they have to know to go for their passions and what they desire in life. You just can't wait for someone to give it to you. You actually have to go out and get it. So that's what I'm showing them. There's things that you have to do, and there's things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And in life, you have to do what you have to do so you be able to do what you want to do. So I've spent so many years doing what I have to do, so that now I'm in a position I can do what I want to do. And that's kind of where this came from.
I love that. I definitely love that. I mean, similarly, I have, yeah, you first of all don't look like you have kids that old. Okay. So you look amazing.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
I have three. My oldest is 14, and then I have 8 and a 6-year old. And
Okay.
so everyone over the Juneteenth weekend are like, "Where are the kids?" And I'm like, I cannot manage to deal with them and this event at the same time.
Yep.
But
Yep.
they are a part of all of the planning. So they are doing all things pre-planning
Mhm.
and post-planning with me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they are. I think the oldest has been there. He's now a photographer, so he
Oh,
goes around
nice.
and participates in doing the photography for the entire weekend. And now my 8-year-old, he actually wants to be a vendor, so he has been sewing clothes and doing things
Okay.
in that capacity. And so he's like, "Ma, I wanna sell my stuff." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so let's start small. We're gonna start at like an event that's not necessarily mine, so that I can focus on supporting you." And then, leading up to Juneteenth, maybe for next year. So I
Yeah.
know that it is
Nice.
definitely a big labor of love when we are and again, it's another way of being example, showing by example,
Mhm.
being
Mhm.
responsible. And being responsible is not always fun. Like we want to like not be responsible
Yep.
sometimes as
Yep.
parents and as
Yep.
moms. So again, another area where my hat goes off to you and
Thank
kudos
you.
for that. You talked
Thank you.
about your son being in college. and the other in high school, and you being an engineer, and that's where our STEM and STEAM right now comes into place. So, what advice would you give to young women specifically, but our young children overall who aspire to succeed in STEM and in the finance industry?
The first thing I would say, and I tell my youngest this all the time, and so does his father, um, you've got to be an advocate for yourself,
Mm,
right? So, our educational system, depending on what level they, whether it's public school or private school, charter school, our educational system sometimes doesn't allow for our children to be heard or seen in the classroom. If there's something that they don't understand,
agree.
the teacher may be overwhelmed, and or the class may be too large when they don't really have the outlet where they can get that one-on-one understanding. And depending on what's going on at home, they may not have the ability to get it there either. So one of the things I would definitely say is be an advocate for yourself. If there's something you don't understand, if there's something you need help with, reach out to someone, whether it's a teacher, another classmate, a parent, an aunt, uncle, someone that's going to be able to explain it to you. I feel like math and science is one of those subjects where if you can intervene early and get them to enjoy it and learn about it early, that's when they'll be successful in it. Once kids get to fractions, then it's like their mind just goes crazy. But if you have someone that can intervene at that point, definitely. And don't let anything stop you. Like, I'm a black woman engineer. And again, engineering is one of those fields where you don't
Right.
see too many of us.
Yeah.
It's such a male dominated field. So don't let that intimidate you. Like, if that's what you want, then find a way, or
Mhm.
find an advocate that can help you. Because I know, when you're young, you may not feel like you have a voice, but there's someone out there that's going to speak up for you.
Right.
So just stay determined. Don't let it throw you off your game if that's what you want to do.
I love that. I love that as because I agree there's so many challenges, and I feel like our children these days don't know they don't know how to advocate for themselves,
Hmm.
how to say like this is not working for me, or like or I don't understand, or even being afraid to say like I don't understand because of the level
Yep.
of expectation, especially when you start to get into those upper echelons. It's like you have to know, like
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
know what this looks like. With all that we talked about, one of the things that I know is a personal focus for me in the last couple of years, because I am the oldest sibling. I have children, have my own business. Everyone, will say, "What do you do for fun?" And I will be like, with the long pause. So I always love
Yes.
to ask that question to our fellow entrepreneurs. What
Uh-huh.
do you do for fun?
Right. So let me start by saying, like, if you know me, I've said this a million times. I am not trying to be out here looking like somebody's mama. And, you have to be of our age group to understand what that means. But I spend time with myself, just I'm still at this point in my age, I'm still learning myself, right? And things that I like and want to do. I go to movies, I socialize, I hang out with friends, I go out when I can, go to events and parties and stuff like that. Um, I nap. I take naps. Like that's my
That's a good
downtime.
one.
You want to have a good time, just take a nap, like uninterrupted. But yeah, I spend time with my kids just personally, just individually, and not so much together, but individually, just so they can get that time. It just helps me become more connected to them, and I think it helps me learn a little more about myself and what
Mhm.
my love language is, what their love language is. So I cook. I do a lot of that for fun too. So,
I love that. So you talked about love language. What is your love language? What would you share with us what
um,
your love language is?
so,
Or what you
um,
identified as your love language so far?
Yeah, what I've identified so far as my love language is affirmations, you know, uh, just feeling like I'm valued. So affirmations, gift giving is another one. Quality time is one. And, I would say physical touch, but it wasn't that high up in the ranking. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm really,
Affirmations. So see, look, I was pouring into you and didn't even know that that
yes.
was your love language. Look.
You can see like all the teeth is out right now, all of them. So yeah, it's one of
Awesome.
them.
I love being able to, pick up on things. My love language is acts of service. So being, um, they say where you pour in of yourself is what you look to get back. And I've definitely been in a space of is that my true love language because I've been in the acts of service capacity being the older sibling for so long that I'm also, learning to understand what if that is my true love language. So that's why I would say,
Yes.
what do you know right now to be your
Yeah.
true love language?
That
Uh,
was on the list. That was on the list. I'm still trying to see if that's. I feel like I've been doing that my entire life, so I don't know if that's a love language or just something that I've grown to do, just kind of like you said, being in the position of being the oldest, and my purpose is definitely serving God's people. So
mhm,
I don't know if that's just me, my
mhm.
character, or if that's a love language per se.
Most definitely. Yeah, trust me. I love when my husband clean the dishes and make
Yeah.
up the bed. I'm like, what you want, babe? What
Yeah.
you need from me? So I know that is
Right.
definitely very high on my love language list. Um, let's see, what did we talked about a lot of things, overall, who you are, where you come from, your family life. I want to talk a little bit about your future. Like, where do you
Mhm.
see yourself going? Like, what's
Mhm.
as far as your career, your long term, I would say your 5 and 10 year goals, like what is in store there?
Um, so on the short term, right, my 5-year goal, I would like to get a cake truck, right? So I've
Mm,
always wanted to have a brick and mortar, but I would like to start with something more mobile,
okay.
or like a van. So you know how you have food trucks and they just kind of pull up to places and you lift up the top, and so I would like to have something like that. Maybe like a van, something I can pull up to, especially in the summertime when there's a lot of like events and outdoor activities. And because who doesn't love dessert? Like, who doesn't want like a nice little cup of
Sure.
cake that they can just eat on the go and put a top on, or nice little bag of cookies? Yep, exactly. Who does not want something like that? So I would like to start there. Of course, getting into working with event planners where I can become, the dessert person, depending on what events they have going on.
Mhm.
Maybe later on, 10 years down, I'd like to get a brick and mortar. Something where I bake regularly, not just events, but where people have the opportunity to come in and pick up some banana pudding cookies. Like you just have a taste for that right at the moment. So I would like to have that. And then more focused on my cooking, like on my business, as opposed to working in finance. That's on the 5-year plan also.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because I need to know where I can go get me some cookies outside of our Juneteenth event. So I definitely want to. I'm looking forward to having this
Mm-hmm.
food truck and anything that we could do to try to support you and being able to make that a reality. I will
Absolutely.
be on the lookout for sure. And you're putting
Absolutely.
it out in the atmosphere. So, as those that are listening, you never know, someone might have a truck and, might be
Yep.
looking for you. So, share with us how people can get in contact with you and and maybe where people can find you.
Right. So right now, I'm based out of Queens. So I'm on IG. You can find me at Cake Sky Makes too. I'm on Facebook too, which is Cake Sky Makes. So really funny, really quick. I used to be just Cakes Kai Makes on Instagram, and then I had some phone challenges. I was changing things in my phone, and then I got locked out. I can't remember the password. Like every password works for everything but that one thing. I was like, oh my god! So that hence Cakes Kai Makes too. So you'll see Cakes Kai Makes, which will have all my pictures and things and stuff, but I can't answer anything there. So please follow me on Instagram, Cakes Kai Makes too. I also am at a few events. So my events are posted on my Instagram and on my Facebook. So you can catch me around the city, different events and stuff. And I'll be sure to give out my business card. You can get my phone number and all that good stuff. That's where everyone can find me and you can experience it for yourself. Because, like I said on stage, I'm all about the cake experience. And that's my goal. I feel like food is something you should experience, not just eat. And so every recipe that I make, every cake jar, every cookie, every custom order cake that I make, it's all about the experience. So when someone tells me, like, hey, this is what I want, I put that together so that your brain is going to be like, this is exactly what that tastes like.
Yes.
And that's what I do.
Yes. So I was just looking at, can you tell us a little bit about your name? Why did you go with Cakes Kai Makes?
So my name is Ayanna Nakai. All of my siblings, we all have like an AN. Aswa Nehemiah, Anis Nandi. So we're all the ANs. And um, my nephew is actually named Kai too. So everyone in my family calls me Kai. And I don't know, one day I was trying to think of like, what should I name it? What should I name it? And it just came to me. It was like Cakes Kai Makes. I think it was something I was doing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the cake Kai makes. And I was like, that works, right? Cakes Kai Makes. And so a lot of people say Key. It's not Key. It's Kai, right? Short for Nakai. So Cakes Kai Makes. That's how that was born.
Got it.
And then that's what I do. I make cakes. So
I got it. I got it. Now, are you the only one that makes cakes? Do you work with a team, family members, siblings, kids? Who helps you with making the cakes?
no, I'm really the only one that bakes. I do have helpers, like my niece Chase. She comes over when I have like large events, and so she'll help with a lot of stuff. My mom does a lot of stuff too. She's just not a baker. Um, my kids are the taste testers, So everyone has a role, right? My niece Genesis, she likes to cook too. She doesn't really bake too much, but she's getting into it. Like she's really excited. That's my hype man. So she's really excited and learning and tasting new things. But for the most part, I do the baking myself. I got it from my grandmother, like my grandmother, my mother's mother. May she rest in peace, grandma and Nana. Sorry, she baked all the time, like pies, breads, biscuits. So that's kind of where I got it from. I've always baked. She always baked, and then yeah. So I'm really the one who does all the baking.
And what's Nana's name? We want to put her name out in the atmosphere. We want to.
Oh, Ann Burris.
Say it again.
Ann Burris.
Ann Burris?
Yes.
Ann Burris. Well, thank you, Ann Burris, for creating, because if it wasn't for her, being an ancestor and infusing all of that into you, she left that legacy, and
Yes.
just giving honor to her for her presence and how she has paved the way for you to be in this space where we are today. So I definitely want to thank her for that and put her name into the atmosphere.
Yep. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So lastly, what can the readers take away from your story and experiences, and how can they apply it to their own lives and careers?
What I would say is go for it. Don't wait. There's so much time I feel like in looking back that I've probably wasted just trying to create the perfect opportunity. And you really don't, right? It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be you have enough money. It's never going to be, so do it. Like if this is what you want to do and you're passionate about it, find a way to do it. Like don't let anything stop you, because life is not long enough for us to constantly wait to get something done. So just do it. Just get up and do it. Read a
Just
book, Google it, YouTube it, ask a neighbor, ask a friend, ask an adult, ask a kid, like something. But just do it. And that's it. Don't let anything stop you.
just do it. I love it. Just do it.
Yep.
That slogan has gone far and wide, and it continues to ring true
Mm-hmm.
in everything that we do. I think we have a question
Sure.
from the audience. Can we put that on? Oh, someone wants to know: do you ship to other states?
I do. I do the cake jars, right? Cake jars. I can work out something. Yeah.
Okay. So definitely reach out on the network. She said the best way to reach you was through
Like Instagram or Facebook. Yep.
Instagram page, and
Yep.
that's Cakes
Mm-hmm.
Kai Makes
Yep.
Two, not the
Or
regular.
you can, yes. Or you can always email me too. Like I check my email all the time. So it's
Okay,
cakeskaimakes@gmail.
got it. Awesome. So you heard it. Definitely reach out, and
Yeah.
I tell you, the cakes were amazing. I'm mad that I only got
Thank
two, but
you.
the cookies,
Yes.
though, the banana.
Yes.
I love me the banana pudding. That like is where my grandmother always used to make something for us for
Mm-hmm.
Sunday dinners or family, reunions, Christmas, Easter, like all of those things. So
Mm-hmm.
every time
Mm-hmm.
I have some, it reminds me of her. So when I had yours, I was there. It took me to that place. So thank
Nice.
you for that and being
You're
able
welcome.
to
It's
reach out.
actually my dad's thing. My dad was the banana pudding. That was what his signature dish was. Between that
Okay.
and macaroni salad.
Okay.
Um but I don't like bananas. And I know a lot of people are like, "What? How do you have banana pudding without bananas?" I don't like the texture of bananas. I don't.
Mm,
So I've had to elevate it, which is why I like my banana pudding cake jars. It's banana cake, but in all the other elements. You have the wafers, there's a vanilla cream that I make, you
mm-hmm,
have the French vanilla pudding. So you're gonna get the same experience because again, I'm all about experiences.
mm-hmm.
You get the same experience, it's just not the traditional like, with the bananas and
Right.
putting away. So yeah.
No, well, you
And then I
definitely
made it into a
did
cookie because I felt like that was just, you know, that was the ultimate evolution right
that.
there. If you
Yeah,
could
you
put banana
definitely
pudding into a cookie, that's it.
you did that. I'm gonna tell
Thank
you that you did that. You definitely did that.
thank
That
you. Thank
concoction,
you.
it was a chemistry explosion for sure. So
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything that you want to share that I didn't get to ask you that you want to let the community know?
Um, yeah, just be on the lookout. Like I'm on the rise here. I have goals, and that's like a slogan I've been saying for the past year and a half. I have goals, exclamation points, right? So just look out for us. You're gonna see like Cakes Kai Makes is gonna be big. We are up and coming. We are gonna be out there, and I'm bringing cake experiences to everybody, every neighborhood, every state. Like this is
Mhm.
just the beginning. Juneteenth was an awesome platform for me to get out there.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the opportunity. So you watch and see. We're coming.
I'm watching, I'm looking, and I'm staying close. Okay,
Yes.
so don't go
Yes.
nowhere. Make sure we are in the know because we want to again support you and
Absolutely.
see how we can be a part of that process
Absolutely.
for your
Absolutely.
growth.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I,
gonna need I'm gonna need taste testers. So I'll be reaching out
I,
when I come up with something new. I know
and
where to go to first.
for sure, you don't
Yep.
have to say nothing twice. Just that one time. Let me know and I'll be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So our last question, since we are the Juneteenth organization, one of the things that Jamie started that we continue to ask all of our attendees that grace our stage is, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Um, it means celebrating culture, right? our history in this country just it goes so far, and it's so deep, right? Some of the things, some of the negativity about that is so ingrained in generations. So Juneteenth is definitely a celebration of our culture, the evolution of us as a community. So it was a great it's a great opportunity for us to just be us and celebrate us and love us, right? With all the good and the bad. Um,
Yes.
you have to understand and know your past in order for us to move forward in the future. No one wants to repeat, all the negative things. So I felt like Juneteenth is that place where we can just remember where we started or where we came from, right? Because that's not, we originated as kings and queens.
Mhm.
So remember where we came from and then celebrate where we're going.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayanna. It was a pleasure having you with us
Yes, thank you. I
today.
really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And we look forward to having you back next year for our Juneteenth festival
Count on it.
and
Save
see.
me a tent.
Okay.
Definitely.
We want to see the new flavors, all of the new
Yes.
things this is
Yes.
a great space. I love being in this space and just again seeing our vendors go from like beginning stages and watching as they advance each and every year. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for being a part of our Juneteenth festival this year.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. All right. So I think we are going to, for next week, we have one of, so this person, amazing. So when I tell you she came in and blew us out of the waters, like in 2 months' time, we had one of our board members who had to leave because she was going through some family issues. And we asked this person to jump in to help support our fashion show piece. And when I tell you she went above and beyond, she definitely did. And she is doing some amazing things. Her name is Elisa Luz, and she'll be talking about her business, her mission statement, her current projects, and the impact that she's trying to make on the world. And I'm sure she'll be sharing a little bit about all things that she did with making Juneteenth a phenomenal experience. So we look forward to interviewing with her on next week. Also, want to remind you about our virtual summit to please, please, please watch us. Um, you can watch the replay. We'll also be doing a full replay on Monday of the entire day. There were so many amazing things. This year, we connected with an organization from Ghana, and they did a documentary that is a part of our virtual summit that I definitely want you to be able to view. It talked about where we were taken from, where we on the in the country when we were removed from our tribes and brought to the waters. There's a castle that's right by the waters where the bars were. And it is still, she talks about how you can still feel the presence of our ancestors in that space. And she does a walkthrough of the entire space. And I'm praying and hoping that myself and some others are able to go and do a voyage trip there, and look forward to being able to bring some of our community to Ghana next year after Juneteenth to experience that, to talk about how we got to where we are, where Juneteenth is a prevalent space for us, and where we are needing to understand the full story, not just this part of the story, not just the story that we are most familiar with, or not even most familiar with, because again, like I shared at the top of this segment, that most of us only know about ourselves from where we came from, slavery. And we're so much more than that. We are so much more than slavery. And I will continue to share what our story is so that we can change our own mindset about who we are. We are kings and queens, and I want us to behave and act in such a way that people understand that that is what our nature is and where we come from. All things negative be removed from us. That is not what we are. That is not who we came from. A lot of things are byproducts of how we were treated in slavery and how we have needed to change our mindset around it. So I definitely encourage you to log on to watch some of our replays. We're also going to send out an email. Monday, we're going to do a full rebroadcast. So we want you to be a part of watching and sharing. Share with others so that they can hear about the story. And I think that's it. Thank you all for joining us on today. Today, I'm actually about to head out to Wall Street. We're going to do a Juneteenth flag raising. We were supposed to do it before Juneteenth, but because of all of the smog that was happening in New York, we had to cancel it because it was unsafe to be outdoors. But if any of you know what the history around Wall Street was the place where the slaves were brought in, and that's where they were sold. So there are areas that have elevated stakes and where the bull is, like all of that. So let's again learn a little bit more about our history. Let's go a little bit deeper, even learning about the Statue of Liberty and what that really and truly stands for. It's not what we think it is. So let's do some history learning. We'll probably have someone come on and talk a little bit more about those things in this space so that we can be educated on how we can move forward in the most enlightened way. But thank you all. I appreciate you again. My name is Ayanna Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC, and we are excited that you were able to join us on today and look forward to you joining us next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn.
E is exhaling, having an opportunity to breathe, to rest, to refill yourself and rejuvenate yourself, because no one can pour from an empty cup.
As you evolve and become more of yourself, you begin to attract the people that are there for you.
Amen.
So everything you need is in this space.
You have to learn from your mistakes. Once you make a mistake, oops, sit down, recoup, and then start over. And once you do that, you say, I got that.
See, Juneteenth means to me, I would definitely say empowerment and education.
When I experience it, it's like just coming together and, being a part of something bigger than myself, And
A new start, starting a new chapter, opportunity, new beginnings, all of that good stuff.